And the ongoing trade war and political tensions have meant fewer cross-border tourists and visitors. That has led to a few shoppers at duty-free and declining sales.
This is one of 32 duty-free shops in Canada along the U.S. border. It's the first to announce it will close, but a national association warns there could be more.
Land border duty-free stores are an export-only business at the border on the Canadian side. They're all independently owned Canadian small businesses, mostly family-run, that have been part of the tourism fabric in Canada for well over 40 years and are often vital economic engines for very small border communities across Canada.
This is our summer season. We should be very busy right now. This is where duty-free shops make their money. We are faced with empty parking lots, and this is heartbreaking.
Lee says 1/3 of border duty-free shops could close down. They're calling on the federal government for help.
Regulations for duty-free stores mean that they can only sell to those traveling internationally. The Frontier Duty Free Association is hoping to see changes.
Right now, you will see my store in Sarnia. The parking lot is empty.
Our industry is an export-only business, and we rely 100% on that traffic going over the border. So when you drive into the parking lot of a land border duty-free shop, you absolutely have to exit into the United States, and all of our product goes directly into the United States.
The Thousand Islands duty-free store has been owned by the Butler family for 3 generations.
My father started with my mother in 1987. He's since passed away. I operate it with my mother now. But yeah, certainly it's a family business, and we've got staff members who've been with us 35 years.
But right now, things are difficult for the shop that sits at the Lansdowne, Ontario border crossing as Canadians forego traveling to the U.S.
We're looking for some little legislative changes. We're looking for anything that they can do to help us.
Duty-free shops who depend on U.S.-bound customers are still feeling it.
July and August should be the busiest time. We should have packed parking lots. We should be making money for the slow winter months.
We have had one store announce that it will be closing by the end of the summer unless a miracle occurs. So this is a crisis. We aren't exaggerating. We do have confidence in our leadership, in the Prime Minister. He says that he won't leave any business behind, and we are really hoping that we see some action on that very soon.
Just steps across the U.S.-Canada border in Quebec, Philippe Bachon's duty-free shop should be bustling this time of year. But smaller duty-free shops along the border are on the brink.
4 to 6 store are planning to. If it's going on, they will close by fall.
To close for good.
Yeah, after 30, 40 years of existence.
We've seen a lot of nodding heads, but we have seen no action. We recently did a survey of the industry, and 1/3 said if this trend continues, they may be forced to close very shortly.
Get through, September, October, but what happens in February? What happens, in those very, very slow winter months?
Duty-free business in our community is generally driven by those who are going over for sporting events, for leisure travel, and that is what you're seeing decline dramatically. And it's not just in Windsor, it's across our country where Canadians are saying, you know what, we just don't want to go to the United States, we don't want to spend our money there right now.
Sales drop of about 30% at our store, and that's versus last year. We're down still about 40% to pre-COVID times because we hadn't fully recovered.
Gary Holloway-Chuck says his business has been cut in half over the last few months.
I've let a few people go, and if this continues, I'm going to have to let a few more go.
It appears that my business anyway, and I think for probably another half a dozen Canadian land border duty-free shops, we will not make it to the end of the year. Some of us may not make it through the end of the summer.
Ottawa points to what has been done to support businesses hit by U.S. tariffs, like flexibilities to EI programs and liquidity support. But here the owner says that help doesn't apply and isn't felt.
Asking for any help we can get. What would help right now would be for the government to remove any red tape on our industry, any tax, a business tax on goods that our U.S. competition doesn't face, any policy that impedes competition.
The association represents 32 stores across the country and is warning 1/3 of their members could face closures if the trend continues.
Again, these small businesses are set up to keep dollars in Canada that would otherwise be spent in the United States. So we're asking them to level that playing field with some small regulatory changes that would allow us to compete.
Avec la pointe.
J'ai procédé à beaucoup de licenciements. Oui, effectivement, je suis seul aujourd'hui dans mon commerce. Ça implique du licenciement d'employés. Ça implique également beaucoup d'heures supplémentaires de ma part de manière à compenser un peu. Donc, derrière tout ça, il y a aussi, en plus des pertes financières que je vais enregistrer, il y a aussi un coût humain. Je vois pas beaucoup ma famille, mes enfants de l'été. Mais bon, je pense que le prix à payer était élevé, mais si on veut passer au travers de la crise, il faut le faire. Évidemment, il ne faut pas que la crise dure trop longtemps, sinon il y a une limite à tout ça, là.
Today we are releasing an urgent, open letter signed by 15 mayors from border communities calling on the federal government to take immediate action to save Canada's land border duty-free stores.
It's really on the discretionary travel side where we see Canadians making a different choice with respect to entering the United States, which is having an immediate and dramatic impact on duty-free operations in our city and across the country.
We went through this through COVID when the border was closed for 2 years and had a tremendous impact on their operations. And they've struggled ever since to get back on their feet. And what has compounded the issue is the dramatic decrease at our own border crossing. It's 25% month to month. And they need immediate action.
Le message est simple. Il faut agir maintenant, sinon nos magasins hors taxes risquent de disparaître pour de bon. Les magasins hors taxes ne sont pas des chaînes multinationales. Ce sont des entreprises familiales et indépendantes.
Urgent action is needed, or we risk losing independent, family-run duty-free stores that have been the cornerstone of our town for decades.
We are worried that we will lose approximately a third of our stores, and that's part of the Canadian tourism fabric that we won't get back. So we really need the government to step up. We understand why Canadians aren't traveling, but we need the government to step up and support us. There are some small regulatory changes that they could make to help us get through this moment in time, and then allow us to survive and thrive on the other side.
Canadians are angry. Canadians are reluctant to go.
Only time will tell if duty-free shops will remain viable as a business as the tensions continue.
I would urge Canadians to take the opportunity. If you are going to be crossing that border, keep your money in Canada, spend it at a local Canadian duty-free shop, help these businesses gain more life, and keep the money in Canada.